8 years deep, Amazon Game Studio is struggling, and reported by Bloomberg, seems that it was all doomed from the start, as far as I can read, Mr. Black. So, I mean, can you name me the fine games in the last 8 years that Amazon Game Studios has put out?
No.
Okay, there's part of the problem. So, Mike Frazzini, who is an Amazon lifer apparently. This guy's been working so long there that he's like OG. And he made his way up and kind of got in the good graces of Mr. Bezos early on in company, and got his spot that way. He was originally in the books section of Amazon, which should tell you how long he's been at Amazon. He was in the fucking books section. So, he's been there a while. He was the guy that they put in charge of this game studio. He had never made a game in his life, and he was previously the head of the book section at Amazon, but because he was there for so long, they were like, hey, fuck it, let's put this guy in charge of this, like, multi-billion-dollar game studio project that we're going to put on. And so they did. Shockingly, that didn't go well, Mr. Black. As it turns out, not having any experience in the realm of making video games and then being tasked with making billion-dollar franchises within the video game business is more difficult than it might seem. To illustrate that point, he came into this thing, and what he did was he was put in the spot, and then all he did was he went out and he did what Google did as well, which we're going to talk about shortly after this as a follow-up, where he went out and he bought up as much top-tier talent from the industry that would be willing to leave their positions in other places to come and work at Amazon. So he did. He had all that money to spend. He went out and bought up a bunch of people. Jade Raymond, and then several, there's a list of deep industry talent from top places around the world. Builds the studio up. He's like, all right, it's time for action. First thing comes out of his mouth. He said, every game had to be $1 billion winner. There is no such thing as making a game that isn't going to be $1 billion revenue expedition, I guess we'll call it. And like anyone who would probably be stuck in that place who didn't know anything about video games, he made as many ties to like League of Legends and the other billion-dollar players in the industry, World of Warcraft, as humanly possible, to illustrate his point of just what he was hoping for this games section of Amazon to accomplish. They then went out of their way to create their own proprietary engine to better integrate with Amazon systems called Lumberyard. And Lumberyard is basically just a chopped and screwed version of Cryotech's engine, which is the engine that runs Crysis, but it was an older version of the Crytek engine. And as it turns out, that was also a terrible idea. That, according to the devs, is one of the slowest engines they've ever worked in. Cumbersome, difficult to work with in general, and so slow that when compiling things within this engine, they would often play Halo and other games on the side while they waited for it to compile shit. At work. So, not exactly top tier, game development engine. Furthering that, Frazzini then apparently heads up a bro culture. That's another classic in the games industry right now. The bro culture. Then on top of that, has largely ignored advice from the many industry veterans that he bought out upon the division opening. So he went out and bought all these top video game people and then ignored basically everything that they told him and then just kept cramming bullshit down the pipe and hope for the best. And what did we get from that? Well, their first game was the game that they based on the show The Grand Tour, which is basically Top Gear but Amazon because, the boys left BBC after Jeremy Clarkson got fired for punching the producer in the face or whatever the fuck it was. And so they made a game based on The Grand Tour. And as it turns out, that was a pretty shit video game. Big shocker on that one. And then their follow-up to that everyone in the streaming space would know more, was Crucible. Crucible came, and it left so fast.
Quick.
So very fast. It's a terrible game. They put that back into beta for a while, after everyone told them their game was terrible. And then they decided that after a while, you know what? This ain't worth it. So they just canceled the shit outright and said, nope, Crucible ain't it. Bye-bye. And that is exactly how a lot of other games internally have gone, apparently. There are loads of projects that they dumped many millions of dollars into that they have just canceled over and over again internally. This section of Amazon is costing them a cool roughly $500 million a year. And they have produced the Grand Tour and a failed beta of the Crucible. That is their winnings for $500 million a year.
Rip.
So, their next game is the MMO New World, which some streamers have also been talking about, and there's some preview stuff going around on that. It was originally supposed to arrive in 2020, but is now slated for spring of this year. So yeah, that was all kind of like a sister point to the fact that Google shut down their games division of Stadia this week. So we've got two great examples of very wealthy companies that want to cash in on the video games industry, but are unwilling to put at the head of these things people that know what the fuck they're doing in the video games industry, while simultaneously buying out some of the best talent the industry has, and then not listening to any of said talent. When the talent says, hey, no, you can't do it. Impossible. You want, like Google Stadia, bought out a bunch of people. Some of the best talent in the fucking industry to prop up their streaming service. Okay, great. What does that mean? We want AAA games for the launch of Stadia. Okay, billion-dollar franchises in 2 years in a team that's been just brought together. Nobody really has worked with each other before necessarily. We don't have any clear fucking goal for the project out of the gate. It's fresh start. 2 years, AAA game, billion-dollar project. Boom, make it happen. Push Stadia. As it turns out, you can't do that.
Nope.
And they just continue to fail to recognize that. So I think Amazon, if this MMO thing doesn't work, I think Amazon's game studio is going bye-bye.
Yeah, they're gonna have to stick to movies or like TV movies and, being Amazon.
Yeah, because it's either that or they have to admit that they put the wrong guy in charge and just fucking put somebody in charge that knows what they're doing. You can't spend $500 million a year on any, it doesn't have to be gaming, on any market that they want to enter. $500 million a year with zero return and all loss.
Sounds like Mixer.
Like basically, right? I mean, you know what you do that in? You do that starting up a business in an industry that almost doesn't even exist because all the startup costs are so high.
Yeah.
And you do that in an industry that is projected to have huge returns. Video games can make a lot of money, but the margins on those aren't necessarily fucking astronomical. So even if they smash all this shit out the park, they've still got years of $500 million losses to try and make up for. So anyway, Amazon, is blowing the goat. But Google Stadia admitted defeat. Google, being Google, did their usual thing of, we started up this thing, we hired a bunch of the best talent, and now we're going to shut the project down in the first 36 months because it didn't work out or make us billions of dollars like we would hope to. And so it's gone. Jade Raymond, gone. 150 developers in the game studios that were making those games, out of work. Google said they are going to try, the operative word in that sentence being try, to reposition them in jobs elsewhere within Google.
Good luck.
And that's it. That's it. So I have to ask this, Mr. Black. Do you think Stadia as an actual service is going to stay around for a heck of a lot longer?
No, it's done. Stadia's dead. It's over. It's over. It's got 2 years tops. It's done. Nobody wants it.
If you're not even willing to make games for your own platform, what makes you think other people are?
It's over. This is like this right here is. This is a fatal blow. This is like this is Twitch putting up the purple ring of death, saying, "Hey, we'd like to interrupt this to let you guys know you should probably watch this on our site." And that's pretty much what's going on right now. This is their version.
They're winding it down.
Yep.
I think they're hoping that they can like. So their plan is to double down on third-party developers and getting them onto the platform. It ain't gonna happen, bro.
That ain't when those developers realize that nobody has Stadia, they're gonna go, "Why in the fuck are we even developing for this piece of shit? This ain't it."
It's not worth the time, bro.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, can you please develop for our Stadia here? Okay, how many users you got? We got about 20,000 worldwide. That's a big no for me, dog."
We got about. Can you imagine?
And
we got
guess
about
what?
20,000.
And guess what? 18,000 of them we gave away for free.
For free, yeah. Yep. And it's gone.
I'm not even exaggerating. It's that bad.
Yeah, it's
that bad.
it's that bad. It's
really
terrible.
that bad.
They basically gave it away and people still aren't using it all that
They
much.
still don't care.
No.
Like Stadia could legitimately email me right now and go, "Hey, Maximus, we got a great opportunity for you. We'd love to give you Stadia on the house. All right. 3-year subscription for free. All right. Just tweet out about it, make a little Instagram post, something, make a YouTube video. I don't care what it is. I'm not even going to reply to the email. It goes to junk mail. It's not worth my time.
I don't want to have to take the time when I inevitably throw it in the garbage to take it to the electronics depot to properly dispose of it.
Yes.
It doesn't even deserve that. That's going out of my way to throw it in the trash.
And this is coming from a guy that collects video games where I just like maybe have it sitting on a shelf somewhere to say I have it.
No,
that ain't it.
So there you go. Amazon and Google both quasi-admitting defeat there. Amazon is still doubling down on their shit, so we'll see how much longer that lasts. We'll see how the MMO goes, New World. But my God, they're gonna need that. That's gonna have to be a real winner, that one, to start recouping costs. I don't think Amazon's gaming division is gonna last much longer. And I agree. I think Stadia's got somewhere between 2 and 3 years before Google pulls the plug and just says, "You know what? We tried, boys, but we're going to sell off our tech to somebody else." I don't know how much longer it's going to take people to realize that live streaming games, as amazing as it would be, and as much of the part of the future as it probably is, we're not fucking there. We're not even close enough that you can bridge the gap by burning money to reach the actual point in time in which people can do it appropriately. The internet infrastructure in North America and most of Europe is not capable of taking that shit. It's just not there yet. I mean, we're still. I still think, I think we talked about this last year when Stadia was first coming out.
We're like 5-7 years out.
I think we're closer to 10 for internet infrastructure.
It's possible. You might be right.
Like it's just because it's not necessarily the speed, it's caps.
Yeah,
is the problem. As long as caps still exist in markets like the U.S.,
it'd be tough.
it ain't happening. So, it is what it is.